Hey guys, are you feeling confused to what camera you should buy next? What system you should be investing so that you can get the best benefit from? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the method that will help you identify exactly the best camera for you. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. There are so many different camera systems out there. You know, Fuji, Nikon, Canon, Sony. I mean, it's just overwhelming. And the reason you probably click on this video because you saw the title of this video, the best camera for you. And I actually guarantee you that I will walk you through this time through this video so that you can identify what's the best camera for you. No strings attached, just for you. Now, if the money wasn't a problem, you probably wouldn't be even watching this video, because if you have no problem spending money, you can buy this camera system and then next year switch to something else. Well, most of us cannot do that. So I want to be able to walk you through to help you identify what's going to be the best camera for you, honestly, because you're going to be the one to determine what are the factors that are most important to you, at least at this stage. Throughout this video, I really want to encourage you to not rush, because as long as you can understand this method, you can actually stop for a moment, put some numbers in as I'm going to walk you through, and then maybe if you need to rewind and go back to understand the method. Guys, this is going to save you so much time in the future. Whether you're gonna choose to buy a new lens, whether you wanna buy a new, camera bag, whether you wanna buy a new car, or even a house, it's exactly the same method. You know, one of the most important things in this is not to get caught up with everything that's out there on the internet. And let me tell you, this is gonna be probably the most geekiest video I have ever made, and I probably will make, because part of me is very interested in photography and I do all that stuff and I do weddings and portraits, but also another part of me is I'm an engineer by trade and I love numbers. A lot of those things come to me very, very easily. This is something that's gonna come with a little bit of numbers, so I want you to be able to go grab a pen, grab a paper, maybe a cup of coffee. And as you're watching this video, I would really encourage you to stop when you need to be able to catch up with everything that I'll be sharing with you on my screen in a minute. I'm gonna walk you through the spreadsheet on my computer right now. And then I want you to be able to find out for yourself, figure out for yourself what you think is gonna work for you guys. So enough talking, let's go back to my computer, and guys, I'm gonna walk you through what's going to be the best camera for you. Alright guys, well now we're at my computer, my spreadsheet, and I want to walk you through this process that will help you to identify what best camera system that is going to work for you. Not necessarily based on what many people tell us, because some people might be feeling biased, but based on what you really know about cameras and how it's going to fit your shooting style, whether you shoot photo or videos or a combination of both. So at the bottom below here, guys, I identify the steps that will help you to really use this table. Please grab a pen, grab a paper. If you guys are interested, you can actually create this spreadsheet table for yourself, but it is so easy to use. It's one of the best tools that will help you to make any decisions moving forward when it comes to multiple alternatives, whether it's cameras, lenses, whether you're buying a car, maybe you're buying a house. So let me go through this first. The first thing that you want to do is you want to identify camera options that interest you. So at my time of recording, which is in February 2021, I'm looking at possibly 4 different options of cameras. One of them is Canon EOS R6, which is about $2,500 currently goes for. The second one is Nikon Z6II, which is $2,000. FujiFilm X-T4, which is $1,700, and the same price you can get Sony A7III. Again, $1,700, which this camera is a little bit more than 2 or 3 years old right now. Now, you guys can pick, more than 4 options. You can go 5 and 6, or you might want to only pick 2 options. It really depends on type of cameras that you're looking at. So this is an easy part. Pick the camera options that you might be interested. Step 2 is that you want to determine most important camera feature categories for you, right? So 5 to 6. The key really is to identify what is really important to you. Now, you might want to consider, so here's a list of things that I came up with that maybe many YouTubers or people who, shoot weddings, they shoot portraits or landscape that might consider, right? So number of megapixels. You might want to consider autofocus, whether it's for video or photo or for both, like a hybrid camera. Cost of lenses, battery life, IBIS, ergonomics, cost of the camera itself, video features that camera may have, color science, camera menu, whether camera has articulating screen or doesn't, or maybe just a flippy screen, and maybe customization of buttons. And you can really come up with a list of other things you might want to think about when it comes to camera features. Now, let me bring you back to my table here. What's important for me in determining is one of the most important things is the camera price. It's one of the kind of driving factors, but not the highest one maybe. Then I figured, okay, I need to know what's going to be cost of lenses, because honestly, you buy camera, but then you end up investing in so many other lenses that really drives your deciding factors in the future if you want to switch cameras. Can you adapt your lenses? What's the cost and the quality of lenses? Autofocus is important to me. Color science, articulating screen, whether it has one or doesn't, and just overall system investment in a switch. Okay, so these are 6 different categories that I determined for myself. You guys might have very different categories, maybe mix of these, or maybe something from the list that I have here. Or you might want to come up with a category that maybe I don't have here, but it's important to you. So please think about it. What's really important to you? Not what everybody else tells you, but what is important to you. So you have, let's say, list 5 or 10 different things. In my case, I have 6. Then, and I kind of, for simplicity purposes, I provided some color coding to, so you can have a better reference point to what I'm talking about. The next thing, step number 3, is you want to assign a category weight to features. So what this means is, out of those categories that you just determined above, in my case, these 6, I need to assign what value does this specific feature has for me. The key is to remember whatever number of features you have, whether it is 5 or 3 or 6 or 10, the total it has to come down to be 100. So in my case, I determined that cost of lenses is probably going to be the most important factor out of these 6. So that's why I signed 25%. Okay. The second in line to me of importance is the cost of camera itself, right? Because if cost wasn't an issue overall, then we probably wouldn't be looking at these kind of different alternatives and try to figure out which one is best for me. The second one that I identify is the system investment in switch. So in my case, I am currently shooting with Nikon cameras. For me to go with a certain brand which means I'll have to switch my systems, maybe more costly or less costly. It depends on the camera brand. So I picked as number 3. And for the remaining 3 that I have is I determined that autofocus is also important to me to consider. And I gave 15. Color science is 10. and then articulating screen, whether it has or doesn't have one, also 10. Not a super important factor, but important enough for me to think about it, right? So, but guys, keep in mind, it has to be equal to 100. So let's say if I decide to assign color science, maybe let's say 5 in this case, you see how it's equal to 95 right now? My estimate of what's going to be best camera for me is not going to be accurate. So you want to make sure whatever number of categories that you have and you assign that certain weight to it, it has to be equal to 100. Now, let's say if you guys have maybe 5 categories and you assign 20 to each category, which 20 times 5 is going to be 100. You can do this, but in this case, you're probably not going to be very authentic with yourself as far as what's really important to you. So guys, think about it. This exercise is probably going to be one of the most important ones for you to go through, to really identify what is important to you. Okay, let's move on. Number 4 step is you want to start rating each category camera for that specific category based on your research and understanding. So guys, let me walk through this exercise, and this is going to be very simple. Once you do, one, you will know how to do the rest of them. So let's start with the camera price. So because Canon R6 costs $2,500, out of these 3, it's probably the worst case scenario for me. So in this case, if you look at my rating system, I would rate it as 1 because it's not an excellent price out of these 4. It's not a great price because there are prices in between here. The best price out of these 4 will be Fuji and Sony. So that's why it's probably going to get a higher rating for me than Canon. So I would say Canon is more like 1 because it's least favorable for me. So I kind of, I have to deal with it, with the price. For Nikon, I would say $2,000, it's a little bit less than Canon, which I would say maybe 2. It's good price for me to pay. Fujifilm and Sony, I would say maybe 3. It's a great price out of these 4. Okay, I would assign. So, and that's kind of the exercise that you guys want to go through. So let's go to the next category. Just skip this 20, 40, 60. Don't pay attention to this. I'm going to come back to it when I talk about step 5. Let's talk about cost of lenses. Now, historically, I know with Canon R lenses now, they're more expensive. Again, for me, it's probably going to be number 1 because I would have to deal with this kind of cost. In other words, I have to swallow it and be okay with that. Now, with cost of lenses for Nikon, I would say probably I would rate it as a 2. And then Fujifilm lenses, I would say probably 2 as well, and Sony is a 2 as well because it's not a great or excellent price. I mean, it depends which lenses you go with. If you go with third-party lenses like Sigma, might be a little bit better, but I would say right now I rate them as a 2, and I would say Canon is the least favorable to me. That's why I'll just give only 1. Now let's talk about autofocus. Now this is going to be an easy one because I know that Canon has a fantastic, basically an excellent autofocus, so I'll give a 4. Now with Nikon, I would say they've gotten so much better right now with these Z series lenses. I would give it a 3. Fujifilm, I think they're kind of struggling a little behind when it comes to photo and video being a hybrid, so I would give it a 2. And Sony is just like Canon. They have an excellent autofocus system, whether it's for photo or video, so I'll give it a 4. So for me, 4 right now basically is an excellent choice for Canon and Sony. Let's talk about the color science. So Canon has a spectacular science. I would give an excellent as a 4. Nikon has a great color science just out of the box, whether they're JPEGs, are fantastic. Fujifilm, again, there's so much research information online out there. Fujifilm has a fantastic, excellent autofocus. And Sony is okay. It depends whether you do photo or video. If you do photo and you shoot in RAW, there's always room to correct. For videos, not so much. You have to tinker a little bit more with it. So I probably would give it 2. Again, guys, please don't judge me. I am basing it on just my personal research. You might have a different experience. Again, I am choosing best camera for me. Articulating screen. Now, I, for the most part, shoot only photos. I do videos once in a while here, just like on the YouTube channel here. So for me, I would give a Canon. I think I'm gonna give him a 3. It's not an excellent, because if I were to go an excellent, I would consider a little bit of a different flip type of a screen. So I'm gonna go with a 3. And then with Nikon, because it's not fully articulating for Z camera specifically, I'm gonna give it as a 2. And then for FujiFilm X-T4, they have a full articulating screen. I'm gonna give it a 3. And to Sony, I'm gonna give it a 2, because it has the same flippy screen just like Nikon Z6II. And the last one, switching investment. Okay, so let's talk about this one. I do know that if I were to go the Canon route, I know that their camera price is higher. I know that their cost of lenses are higher than any of my other 3 choices. So for me, it's going to be a 1, because I'm going to have to deal with the price. Second one is Nikon. Okay, it's going to be least of investment for me, because I can find adapters. I can use adapters, FTZ adapter or something like that. So probably I'm going to give will be the least expensive cost of switching camera systems. So I'm going to give it a 4. Excellent choice. In other words, excellent rating from me. Fujifilm, their camera and cost of lenses are not super high, let's say, compared to Canon, but I'll still have to kind of be okay with it. So I think it's I'm gonna give it a 2 and rate it as a good. And for Sony, I know Sony is typically more expensive, means I'm gonna have to sell all my Nikon gear and buy better lenses if I want to go with one of those G Master lenses. So I think it's gonna be as a 1. Okay, so guys, ignore these numbers right now. So let's look at step number 5, which is I have to multiply category weight, which is the yellow one, by how I rated my specific camera, by my rating. So 20 times 1 is 20. And then I go down the list. 20 times 2 is 40. 20 times 3 is 60. 20 times 3 is 60. Then I go to the next category. I take 25 times 1 is 25. 25 times 2 is 50. And basically, you go down the list. It's just a real simple math. You can use a calculator for this. You can use a phone or calculator function on your phone. Super simple. Once you're done with all these reds, okay, once you're able to identify how you rated that camera based on your rating, the last one, and this is what the fun thing is, and this is what the truth will be revealed. Okay, you want to take all your red ones that are in a row and add them up. 20 plus 25 plus 60 plus 40 plus 30 plus 20, you're gonna get 195. The same thing is with the Nikon. 40 plus 50 plus 45 plus 40 plus 20 plus 80, 275. Guys, and you see what's happening right now? Now the truth comes out. It's basically telling me, based on the rating and what's most important to me, I can tell exactly what camera brand I should go with next out of my alternatives. Number 1 is, as you can see, has the highest points, 275. So this is the camera system that I'm most likely is gonna go with then. The second one is Fujifilm, again, based on everything that's important to me. Number 3, I would be going with Sony, and number 4, I'll be going with Canon. And the funny thing is, I was actually considering Canon as number 1 based on maybe everybody been telling me. But based on my actual needs and what's really important to me, I'm seeing that Canon has the least amount of points that tells me that's the camera I should consider. So guys, I hope this exercise is or was helpful to you. Please feel free to stop this video, or feel free to go back and review this again just to make sure you're doing this right. Guys, I cannot tell you how critical and helpful this been for me, because I can actually tell and have a peace of mind when I understand exactly which brand camera or system I should stick with or go with. So guys, again, hope this video is helpful. Please hit that subscribe button, like the video if you like it, put some comments down below so I know what questions you may have, if you want me to explain this video differently next time, and I hope you guys doing well.